Okay, so we just finished up with A, and we had to flip our negative exponent. Oh, can't get that. Okay, so now we're looking at example 1b. Now in example 1b, we have y to the negative fourth over x squared. So we see that our x squared is already positive, so we can just leave that alone. But we know that we cannot have a negative exponent, so we're going to have to use the negative exponent property, which is flipping this negative 4 or y to the negative fourth into the denominator. Okay, so if we turn this, so we're going to keep our x squared the same. We need to bring our y to the fourth down. Okay, and then the last thing is it's our reciprocal. So this is also y over 1. So we need to bring our 1 up, and our final answer is going to be 1 over x squared y to the fourth. Okay, so just flipping it makes it positive, but this can't be 0 because our whole answer would be 0. So it needs to be a 1. So because if we ever multiply something for 1, it is going to be whatever is multiplied by it. Okay, so if you change this over down to the denominator, you need to make sure that you put a 1 into the numerator. Okay, now let's do letter C. So C is 1 over w to the negative fourth. Okay, so we looked at that earlier. If we have a negative exponent in the denominator, that means that we can flip it over into the numerator to make it a positive. So it'd be the same thing as multiplying its reciprocal. So we're going to move w to the negative fourth, and it's just going to be w to the fourth. Okay, because remember, flipping it from one side to the other makes it positive. So C is going to be w to the fourth. Now, if we look at example 2a, it has a squared b to the 0, and it says a equals a negative 2 and b equals a negative 3. Okay, so we're going to plug in a, or negative 2 for our a. So we have negative 2 squared times a negative 3 to the 0, okay? And I'm just putting the parentheses just to make it a little more organized. So negative 2 squared. So if we have a negative times a negative, it makes it a positive. So we're going to do 2 times 2, which is 4, okay, times a negative 3 to the 0. So whenever we have a 0 exponent, that means that it is automatically going to be a 1. So if we take 4 times 1, final answer is going to be 4. Okay, we'll solve for our exponents, then multiply them together. Just the same thing as our order of operations. So if we look at B, it says 3b to the negative third times b. And b is still b equals a negative 3. All right, so we need to plug in for b. So we have 3 times a negative 3 to the negative third power times a negative 3. So we need to first work our exponent. So we're going to bring everything down. So we have 3 times, so we have a negative exponent. So to make it positive, we need to make it 1 over 3 to the third times a negative 3. So what is 3 to the third? So we take 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So we take 3 times 1 over 27 times a negative 3. Now, we can just multiply across now. So we're going to take 3 times 1, which is 3, over 27 times a negative 3. Same thing, we're just going to take 3 times a negative 3, which is a negative 9 over 27. And then we need to simplify that even further. So we need to take we can divide by 3. Divide by 3, so it is going to be 3 over 9, which can reduce even further down to 1/3. Probably couldn't see half that. So you got to reduce down.